Okay, I got my next question, so I'm going to talk through numbers 1 and 14 on AP Review number 2. Number 1, it says the choice of a hypothesis test either should be made after all possible tests are performed using technology. That would not be true. And when they reference the choice, it really just means like the direction. So am I doing a less than, greater than, not equal to test? Is critical only in the case of medical experiments? No, I would argue every hypothesis test is critical. C, depends on the parameter of interest. Yes, but it does depend on more than that. Depends on the parameter of interest, the sampling situation, the type of variable involved. It gives us more things to look at, and then is left to the tester whenever n is greater than or equal to 30. And E is saying, like, left to the tester. Yes, it is, but you don't just pick. You don't pick a side less than or greater than or not equal to. You need to look at all different things. And while the parameter of interest is important, you do also want to look at the type of variable that you're using. Are you using means? Are you using one sample, two sample? And then the sampling situation as well. Random, independent, things like that. So D just kind of has the best overall answer. This is a kind of a weird question just because it's not something we talk about a lot. It's not something you can specifically study for, but this answer D just kind of has the best overall around answer. And while C is still correct, you still want to view all things. The only answer that would be completely wrong, and I kind of see it in answer choice A, you don't ever choose the direction of the test after you sample. So you always want to choose before sampling. And I've seen that kind of question come up before. When is it appropriate to choose the direction? You always want to choose it before you sample, before you do anything. And D is not saying that you're doing it after. It's just viewing the sampling situation, like how you're going to sample. Okay, let's go back down to number 14. And this question is interesting. It's not drawn the way that we normally see it drawn. So I'm going to go over here to the side and I'm going to redraw my picture. And then mu sub 0, that's like your null hypothesis. And your alternative hypothesis is going to be down here and a little bit to the left. So that's what happens when you take your sample. And that line between the 2 and the 3, that's like your rejection line. So this is something that whenever we went and studied how to solve for power and beta, remember that long thing we did? This is kind of your cutoff or your rejection region. So anything here, this is my rejection region. Anything here to the left, I would reject. And then anything to the right, I would fail to reject. So we have our areas for, this would be 2, this would be 3, and then this would be 1. So in the picture below, the value of beta is in which region? And beta is a type 2 error. And type 2 means you fail to reject, but you shouldn't have. So you fail to reject, but you shouldn't have. You should have rejected. The alternative is true. And so the only options that I really have here are 3 and 4 because 1 and 2 are both to the left of the rejection region, meaning I would reject in option 2 and I would reject in option 1. Option 2 is my type 1 error. That's my alpha. Type 3 would be my beta. And then 4 would be a correct decision. 1 would be power. So 3 would be beta, meaning I failed to reject and I shouldn't have because it's in the alternative hypothesis normal curve. So I hope that this helped.